All right. So welcome everybody tonight to the GEARE welcome meeting. I'm Joe Tort, Associate Director of Office of Professional Practice. Quickly go around, I have a couple of colleagues here who work with the program that can introduce themselves. First, I'll have Francisco give a quick introduction.
Hi, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Thumbs up.
Yes.
Good, good. Yeah, I have terrible mic problems with my computer, so I always need to check. My name is Francisco Montalvo. I've been with GEARE for a little over 5 years now. I'm the Assistant Director for Global Projects. I'm helping Joe and the team develop connections abroad for you guys' internships and projects with partner universities. I'm a GEARE alum myself. I did GEARE in 2007, and we have all kinds of exciting news regarding our alumni network. We're planning a GEARE, the 20th anniversary reunion coming up in 2023. So it's going to be in Germany. You guys should all plan to join. But yeah, it's really amazing to keep, the program growing, to see new students, new faces, also some old familiar faces. So happy to be here. Welcome, everybody.
We have Tina Alsip. Maybe Tina can introduce herself real quick.
Hi guys, I'm Tina. I'm the student information specialist. So mostly my role will be tracking all of your academic records and requirements for the program. So if you have any questions about those things, feel free to send me an email.
Yeah, or if you have questions tonight too, you can
course.
in the chat, and Tina will be answering that as well. I'll let Jenny Strickland, she's new in our office. She can introduce herself real quick.
Hi, everyone. My name's Jenny. I am new to the office, like Joe said, and I work mainly with co-ops, but I definitely will help out with GEARE anytime y'all need something. I think it is such a cool program, and you guys are about to embark on such a fun thing. Great to meet you.
I'm going to introduce, we have a couple of our GEARE ambassadors here, people who are going to help us with the program and be good contacts and connections for you to start to get to know. First, I'll go to Allie.
Hi everybody, I'm Allie. I'm a sophomore in mechanical engineering. I'm studying German. Hopefully can go abroad next year. I'm sure you guys will go. It's still kind of up in the air a bit more for us. I'm the vice president of external affairs, and I encourage you guys all to get involved with the GEARE Ambassador program.
And then Eleanor.
Hi everyone, my name's Eleanor. I'm a 4th year in chemical engineering at Purdue, and I'm the recruitment director. So since you guys are here, that means that we're doing our job.
And then Will.
Hey everybody, I'm Will. I'm the president of the GEARE Ambassadors. I'm a 5th year student in computer engineering, and I guess I've done the whole GEARE program now. So I'm getting ready to go start work in with my company RA Jones in Bologna, Italy, coming this fall. But if you have any questions, I for sure will be able to help you until the end of the semester and beyond.
All right, and we have a guest speaker here tonight. I'm going to introduce him in a second, but I just want to say that congratulations on being in GEARE and applying to the program. I'm really excited for this group. I'm probably more excited for this group than almost any other group. While we've had our pause with COVID for our 2021 group, and been somewhat unfortunate for those students, but they've actually found other ways to engage globally, and we found new ways to engage globally. And there's some really cool things that we're going to be able to take from this year and incorporate into the program that I think that you guys are going to be excited about. We also had good news just earlier this week. In fact, we heard from the Study Abroad office that travel is going to be reinitiated in the fall semester. So many of our students, probably this fall, still depending on the countries and the situations that are going on there, we'll start to go abroad in the fall, and we feel even better about our group that our main group of GEARE students who will be going abroad next spring. And by 2023, I think that you guys are going to definitely be able to go. And the other thing that we're really excited about is because of the virtual nature and everybody's more comfortability, I guess, with virtual connections, it is allowing us to really expand and strengthen our network. And so we heard Francisco talk about our GEARE alumni. We now have over 500 Purdue students who have completed the GEARE program who are spread out around the world. We also have international students from some of our partner universities who are involved in GEARE and be part of our network. And we're actually expanding our network in coming years that will be able to include more of the exchange students who come to Purdue. So this is creating an extremely large and extremely powerful connection or network of global engineers. In a couple of weeks, we're going to start by having a global alumni networking event here. Many of those alumni interested in expanding their role with the GEARE program, potentially offering internships to students, potentially offering different mentoring to GEARE students. And in 2023, when you guys, most of you might be abroad that year, we celebrate our 20th anniversary of the GEARE program. We're looking to have major alumni reunions during that year, probably one in Germany, as Francisco said, likely in the month of June. And that will be sort of the culmination, the first place that we sent GEARE students. And then we plan to have another large reunion in the fall of 2023 back on campus. So that will be a very exciting year for you guys. And building your networks is going to be something that's going to be really important in the GEARE program. And to get going with that, I thought I'd have one of our more recent alums join us, talk to you a little bit about his experience, and then also give you some advice for the future. So I want to introduce Pirapak, who is, I think he definitely graduated from Purdue with a 4.0 and is still the only GEARE student who completed all of the GEARE requirements and his degree requirements in 3.5 years. So I'm going to throw it over to Pirapak.
Hey guys, my name is Pirapak. I was born and raised in Thailand. I was in GEARE cohort of 2018, which feels like 1,000 years ago. And that was the same year that I graduated mechanical engineering also. Right now, I'm working as a senior consultant at FTI Consulting in supply chain management strategy. It's a really new practice. I've been at the firm for about 2 months. And previously, I was at Chewy, an e-commerce company, working as a supply planner, and then previously was at Deloitte Consulting working as a business technology analyst. Again, wanted to congratulate all of you for getting to the GEARE program, which is one of the most amazing programs that I've been a part of at Purdue, and the network and the support from the facilitators like Francisco and Joe Tort had been super amazing throughout the year. And throughout my time at Purdue, I've made wonderful connections that I'm still keeping in touch with, whether that be friends that are all over the world. I try to encourage all of you to stick with the program, study hard, and make sure that you're able to go abroad, because that will provide you with invaluable experiences, whether it be through the cultural interactions with people from Purdue and also people from your host country, the ability to travel all over the place, and also employment opportunity. This is one of the programs that enabled me to get into consulting from engineering, because there's a lot of parallel between the work that we do consulting versus experiencing different cultural aspects. And yeah, happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. Not exactly sure what other information I can provide. Joe, do you have any specific questions that I can help out with?
No, I mean, maybe I would ask, like, I think we have some international students, for example, who might be interested in how you as an international student felt this program helped you.
So a lot of people say that by being international at Purdue, you are already studying abroad, right? In a sense, I think that this program is definitely different than that because you're a part of a larger network where you're going to be a part of international and domestic students. The path to going abroad for you guys may not be as easy depending on which country you're from, but I'd say try to get on top of your visa situation and requirements beforehand so that you can ensure that you won't run into any roadblocks when it comes time for you to go study abroad. And also make sure that you work hard to try and land an internship that would allow you to also work abroad. So an example of that is I worked for a company called American Axle and Manufacturing, which is an automotive supplier based in Detroit. They have their operations around the world in Spain, now I think Spain, Brazil, Mexico, Germany. And there's just a lot of opportunities for you to start networking at a very early stage to try to set yourself up for success. And I guess this advice also applies for domestic students, right? Where you'd have to get an international internship eventually.
Thanks, PurePack. And I think my advice to everybody here. So one thing that we're going to hit hard on is building your network. And it's now easier than ever, I think, to build networks and to reach out to people. And one of the tools that we're using quite a bit is LinkedIn. And so I would invite you all as a first step to reach out to PurePack. Let's give him 120 notifications on his phone for new LinkedIn contacts. Maybe before you do that, maybe you should contact with me. It might be harder to connect with PurePack, but if you connect with me, then you can tap into my network. I want to see 130 new requests on my phone. And then Francisco and Will and Eleanor and Allie and Tina and Jenny, get connected with us. That is a good first step. And from there, you'll really be able to connect with lots of people all over the place. So with that, I want to thank PurePack for joining us. I know you've got a flight to start getting to, so we'll let you get on your way.
So what's PurePack's last name? Thank you.
Yes.
Well, happy to be here again, and congratulations for everyone getting here, and for all the ambassadors. Good luck with going abroad and also future opportunities. Joe, we'll be in touch. Francesco, I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So now I just wanted to go over a few things now that you're in the program to make sure that we're kind of aware of the flow of how we're doing things and what's going to go on at what periods of time. So we've kind of seen this. We're going to go and we're going to kind of look at a timeline. So we're looking at, say, next fall semester, 2021. Each semester, we're going to want you to keep your resume updated with us. So this is kind of a constant thing for you. You had to submit a resume when you applied, and we'll want you to go back into that same database system and keep your resume updated in there. From our database system, we're going to be able to easily put together resume books based on, what languages you're studying or where you're going or what major you are. And we talk to a lot of companies throughout the year, and it'll be highly effective for us to make sure that we can send your resumes on to companies that are interested in GEARE students, and hopefully help you create more opportunities for internships, for interviews, for things like this. So make sure that your resume is updated in our system. Generally speaking, make sure that it's updated every at the beginning of every semester. In the fall of 2021, we're going to be starting recruitment efforts. We'll have a GEARE company recruitment event. Actually, September 9th may not actually be the date, so don't take that by, heart. We will potentially have different types of events. We'll have to see what the recruitment landscape looks like. We'll likely have virtual events. We may have some in-person events with companies coming and interested in GEARE students. And so we'll be letting you know about that. And those things will start in the fall. IR will be a good time for you to go out and look for internships. Some of the companies that recruit or have been involved or have worked with GEARE students in the past will be at IR. We'll be getting you information about those companies. We will start to have what we call the sophomore meetings. So all of you are going to be required to do at least 5 of these sophomore meetings. So different types of events. We have all sorts of things that go on, events with alumni speakers, events where we can talk about study abroad, social events. We want you to stay connected with the program during the sophomore year, and we'll kind of keep track of that throughout the year. You'll be taking your foreign language courses. You need to progress through the intermediate level. Usually for most students, that's the 202 level prior to going abroad your junior year. And definitely trying to meet with the GEARE coordinator in your discipline to be talking about your academic plan of study, starting to think about study abroad, the locations where you ultimately go, and how the credits are going to line up. The spring of 2022 looks like a continuation of internship searches potentially. We have professional practice days that goes on. That's also that's really involved with our co-op program. There are a lot of companies that are interested, like Will's company, for example, interested in integrating co-op into the GEARE program. So you might do 3 rotations with a company and one of those rotations be abroad. So you'll find some of those companies at professional practice days. You'll continue your foreign languages, and generally speaking, you'll hopefully have landed your internship for the summer, and you'll register for the summer domestic internship course, which is the ENGR 39799. You'll also be thinking about registering for the fall semester, our global engineering orientation, which is the course that you take the semester prior to going abroad. Summer of 2022, usually completing your domestic internship. We like students to start applying for study abroad at that time. So hopefully you've identified that. There's a good amount of paperwork for study abroad. It's better not to leave that to the last minute. The deadline is usually in September, so you want to be doing that in the summer. And of course, keeping your resume updated. Fall of 2022, that's the timeline where you're taking ENGR 29701. You're attending GEARE company recruitment events, potentially searching for your global internship, doing generally a lot of correspondence with us. You might also have connected with a company who planned to send you abroad that year. And then you're going to register for the ENGR 397, which is the course that you take while you're overseas. The spring of 2023, for most of you, is going to be the study abroad semester. During that semester, you'll probably be taking the ENGR 497 course, which is, or you'll be taking the 397 course. You'll have to start thinking about registering for 497 when you come back. And you may be registering for the global internship course that might happen in the summer, or could also happen in the spring. Summer of 2023, potentially that's the time when you're completing your global internship. Fall of 2023, you're taking your ENGR 497, maybe applying for full-time positions, and potentially in the spring of 2024, that's when you're graduating. And at that point, we will be having GEARE barbecues again to celebrate students when they graduate and honor our seniors. So this is an example of the timeline that many of you might follow. Many of you might alter this. You might push back your study abroad. You might get involved in a co-op program, for example. And so we might be working together to alter this plan. But this is sort of a typical plan that one could look like. This is sort of follows this general schedule that you have seen before. And then I think what we're going to talk about a lot is this global design team project. Prior to this last year, that global design team project happened a lot in this 4th year. We're very interested with the global remote projects that we've developed this year and pushing that and having you look at doing this during their 2nd year. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute, about what some of these project options and what some of the benefits of those projects will be. We believe that having that remote global experience potentially connects you with some of our partner universities abroad, and those students, it helps prepare you for that global experience. And some of our projects, I think, are going to lead to global internships overseas as well. So getting involved in those types of things early would be good. So a couple of new things that we have created, and this is also something that we'd like more of our students to do. While it's not a requirement of the program, we think that you'd be very interested in it. So something that we created this year as somewhat of a replacement for students when they couldn't necessarily go abroad is a 1-credit course called LC 490, Humanities Informed Engineering. And this course could potentially be adapted to 3 credits. We're looking into that, but for now it's a 1-credit course. And I might ask Eleanor, because she's enrolled in the course right now, tell you a little bit about this.
Yeah, sure. So as Joe mentioned, this course is the kind of replacement for study abroad. I'm part of the cohort that isn't able to go abroad because of COVID. So instead I'm taking this and then a global design project. And this course is honestly probably one of my favorites at the university so far, way better than any chemical engineering course. It focuses on delving into the culture behind engineering projects. So we look at different case studies, like for example, the flood barriers in Venice, Italy, and we try to analyze them from all different angles. So we'll look at them from the perspective of the residents. We'll look at it from the perspective of the engineers, of the Italian government, of environmentalists, and we try to gain a holistic picture of how our engineering can impact the culture of a community and all the stakeholders involved. So if you have the opportunity, I'd highly encourage you to take it. It's absolutely fascinating.
Thanks, Eleanor. Yeah, so our goal is this course is going to be offered every spring semester. So this could be something that you're looking at taking next spring while you're here at Purdue. It's also another course. I think that you're going to be able to make some connections in here, better prepare yourself for the international experience if you do take it prior to it. So while it's not required, you can do it. And I probably also make this count for some of your sophomore meeting requirements if you take the course. So the next thing I want to talk about is our remote global design team projects. I'm going to let Francisco take this over because he's sort of been the guru who's been putting these together, and he has some exciting things I think that we're going to offer next semester.
Thanks, Joe. I don't know about guru, but we adapted as quickly as possible. And last spring, we learned that we cannot travel, and we wanted to come up with a way for GEARE students to still get a global experience. Most importantly, to be able to work alongside students from different universities. So it isn't perfect, right? Somebody needs to work with university in Latin America and your language is German, for instance. We have some, I see Eleanor smiling and nodding. We have some incoming students from Germany, KIT, working with students in Mexico. But after a year of experience, we really see that so-called imperfection is actually a great experience for students, because you have to adapt, right? You have to deal with time zone differences, with cultural differences, with language differences, which sometimes you're better or not so well adapted or prepared for, and you have to come up with a design or a research project. We have different topics. We have topics around water quality, sustainability, food security. Others are more traditional engineering topics like designing airfoils for aero students. And next year we're going to have a couple industry partners. So we believe we're going to have things that are be a little bit more oriented to R&D, in automotive industry, uh, automation industry. So it's growing. The initiative within GEARE is proven to be a good part of the building blocks that make up your experience as a global engineer. And we want to continue. We want to still offer these projects, even though they were meant to make up for the missed abroad experience last year. And we have a short list of general topics of the projects that are going to be available. This is not extensive. This is still subject to change to some extent. What we are going to do is send you more information as we have confirmations from the partner university, so you can actually sign up for the courses. Right now, the courses are set up as 3-credit electives. Some department, depending on your department, this could count towards a technical elective requirement, because it is just like a capstone design. Maybe a little less work than a senior design, but more work than a sophomore design. And we really want you guys to have the opportunity to do this before you go abroad. Really, I think that's where you get the best value out of it, right? Get that preparation, that experience of working across cultures before traveling and doing your internship and so on. So yeah, that's it. Feel free to email me or email the office if you have more questions. But we will send more information to you guys in the next couple of days for registration and so on.
Yeah, and to be clear, I think we're looking at having about 8 different project groups in the fall. That will probably be the bulk. We might have a few the following spring, but we will, as Francisco said, send you information about the projects. We want to get interest. We want to see if you'll be interested. The one thing that we'll also say is that the projects are online registration, and that the meeting times that we have to be defined once we have the project groups together. So we try to put together meeting times that kind of work. Some of them we're kind of working, trying to figure out the best time amongst different time zones, because we'll have some different time zones represented with the other groups abroad that we're working with. Awesome. But these projects should be a great way for you to enhance your experience and potentially really prepare you for good opportunities overseas. So wanted to just give you a few pieces of advice about the program, what we expect and how you're going to be successful. Being flexible, definitely. You probably hear from Eleanor or from Will. I mean, both of them have kind of changed their schedules. They both had some flexibilities. They've both done some different things to accomplish the goals of the program. We'd like you to be flexible, say yes to things, and we'll be flexible too. Everything doesn't necessarily need to be done in the same order sometimes. So, but with that said, you have to be proactive. You have to kind of let us know. You have to be looking for opportunities all the time. Let us know what type of opportunities you're looking for. We can help you with those types of things. Utilize the resources. Read the emails that we're sending to you. Generally, those have points. We're trying to help you out with those. So stay connected with that. I would say over the summer, work on your resumes and get some feedback on that. I, generally speaking, GEARE students have pretty good resumes, but I've also seen some resumes when students get to be sophomores, usually about this time of year. They're asking, I have some who are asking about domestic internships for the summer, saying I'm struggling for it, and I see their resumes and I say, gee, this can be improved a bit, right? And I wish they would have asked me sooner about it or asked for feedback. So start taking a look at your resumes, start asking for feedback. We have a very good network of GEARE students, older students in the program who are really willing to help. And I think we're gonna go and we're gonna talk a little bit about our GEARE ambassadors, how you can join this, and then also looking at our communication system and how we're communicating and how you can get a lot of assistance from current students in the program. I'm going to throw it over to Will for that.
So yeah, hi guys, it's me again. I would like to introduce you guys to the GEARE ambassadors, of which a few of us are here today. I would first of all invite everybody to join the Slack. That is how we get all of our updates out on, including for social events, sophomore meeting credits, all that good stuff. It's also the easiest way to get a hold of us, and we use it to plan basically everything we have going on in GEARE. And I know often Joe also gives me things to communicate through there. So I really highly recommend joining the Slack and being involved with it. You can use that QR code down below, or I can get you a link for it. But yeah, I guess a little bit about us. We're the GEARE ambassadors. We're GEARE's student organization. We plan a lot of really awesome events, and it's where I've met a lot of my closest GEARE friends. And it's really can be a lot of fun. As you can see in the the bottom right, we've been playing some IMs this semester. Our soccer team's into the second round of the playoffs now. Not gonna brag at all, but we are starting to make the sports teams do a little something. Again, it's a great way to meet people. And if you want to get involved with the ambassadors at all, whether it be on the executive board or just helping out with some of the projects we've been working on, elections are going to be starting up in the next couple of weeks. And now is like a really good time to get involved, as we're going to start planning things for next semester coming in to the end of the year here. The elections will be open all summer though, so you have time to think about it, but I would really recommend getting involved as soon as possible.
And Will, everybody here on this meeting should make sure that you join the Slack channel. That's a major way that we communicate. And once you're in Slack, there's all sorts of subgroups. So your cohort year 2023, the locations where you're going. So there's lots of different ways to communicate about different things. Thanks for Will just put it in the chat, the actual link, but we also have the QR code here as well.
And I would add that when you join the Slack, you should automatically get added to all the relevant channels for you guys. But if you want to see what else you can get involved with, feel free to click the plus button next to the channels. And from there, you can join anything else that sounds interesting. And I guess make sure you have your notifications on, especially for the announcements channel, because that is where we're going to be keeping everything most up to date.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is we have a lot of other places where you can be involved in following GEARE. So we have Facebook groups, we have the GEARE LinkedIn, the GEARE Instagram, our OPP site, and then our GEARE student organization. Also, you can find it from our OPP site, but they have a great website as well that features a lot of information from GEARE students that will really help you plan and get information, and also help you create your network as well. Will, Eleanor, Luke, Allie, you guys want to say anything else about connecting or the various channels that we have?
Join the Slack, be active on the Slack. So often people will not read the Slack and then become frustrated that they don't know what's going on. We put it all there. So be active.
Don't fall behind on your sophomore meeting credits. That's another thing that goes along with being involved on the Slack, because we have plenty. I completed all of mine last semester. It's very, as long as you're checking those messages, we put on plenty of events that you can get those meeting credits, no problem. Just be active in checking that. And then, yeah, I encourage you to get involved with more opportunities, because we hold a lot of social events. Again, our IM football team is doing really well. And yeah, I would also just like to say to any rising sophomores looking at getting involved with the executive board next semester, you don't need prior experience as an ambassador to get involved. So if you're interested in that, definitely read through the list of roles and apply next semester.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, go ahead, Will.
I was gonna say, just to follow on to that, even if you don't want to run for an elected position, if you would want to get one in the future, being involved as an ambassador in the first place is one of the first things I was looking for when I was doing a lot of the elections last semester. So I would definitely suggest getting involved if you want to be on the board in the future.
And a couple other things. Eleanor was interested as being part of the GEARE ambassadors. We are trying to actually do some more active recruiting of students like you to come to Purdue and join the GEARE program. So Eleanor, do you want to share the? Okay, so Eleanor has a link to a brief survey. I'll probably also email this to you as well so that you have it. We're just interested in some information about the high schools that you attended and getting in contact with people there at those high schools. So we are interested in basically getting more globally minded engineering students to come to Purdue and join the program. So we greatly appreciate your help with that. A secondary thing that I would also ask in terms of getting your help as well is that you probably hear we have Purdue Day of Giving that comes up April 28th. And we'll be putting some different things out there, but GEARE has a specific fund that people can give to. And what we use that fund for GEARE for is we're going to use it to be able to expand the global projects and the number of projects that we're going to be able to run. One of the things that occurs is that these are kind of time consuming and they require people basically to man that. And the people that we're going to hire to help us man these projects will ultimately end up being GEARE students who have done projects before. So we're going to be looking to hire our senior GEARE students to be undergraduate TAs to help with these projects. So that's one way that we'll use funds that are donated to GEARE. And the other way is that we like to make sure that the program is cost neutral for students. In that sense, sometimes when students will do internships abroad or research abroad, the internships may not be compensated in a way that covers their whole cost of living while they're doing it. So we like to have scholarship money that students can apply for and be able to get to help them while they're abroad. So that's the other major way that we use funds for the GEARE program. So as the Purdue Day of Giving comes up on April 28th, if you know or have relatives who went to Purdue or people that you know that would give to Purdue, have them consider giving to the GEARE program. So we would definitely appreciate that because it'll help us help you in the future. Yeah, and I think there was one other thing that I was interested in saying, but I can't remember exactly what that was. So we'll probably send out some emails about that as well. I think before we break up, I want to do about 10 minutes or so because this is the virtual environment. Usually if we were doing this in person, we would have a good chance to kind of meet and do some different things where we can meet each other in the group. So I'm going to have about 10 minutes where I want you, if hopefully you're in a place where you can do this, turn on your camera and connect with the other students in the group. Be able to introduce yourself a little bit, be able to tell each other why you joined the program, what you're looking forward to doing in the program. So right now I'm looking at creating about 23 rooms and 5 people apiece in each room. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create the rooms. You can join it and we'll do this for about 10 minutes and then we'll come back and have any other questions that you might wanna have answered.
breakout room number 10 rocks.
Oh, whoa.
All right, I think we got most people back now. The abruptness of Zoom networking is one thing, and we'll be looking forward to getting back to meeting in person pretty soon. I will say that I think in the fall we'll be able to do a lot more in-person gatherings, and we should be looking forward to meeting everybody in person early fall. I'm sure we will put together a GEARE barbecue, which will be a good opportunity for everybody in the program to meet each other and to interact. And I'll also say that if you're on campus, feel free to stop by the office. I'm in the office most days. We're located in Potter 114. Love to say hi to people. It'll break up the monotony of all the Zoom meetings we've had over the last year. It'd be great to get back to talking with people in person. We have like maybe a few minutes left. If anybody wants to ask any specific questions, we can answer it. You can list it in the chat, or feel free to unmute and ask a question if you have one.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I had a quick question. I'm currently planning to go into chemical engineering, but so I'm registered for 2 languages this summer. I'm obviously going to drop one. One is German and one is Japanese. I'm having a hard time deciding. What would you advise? Like, what factors should I consider when deciding a language? Because from what I've heard, if I take Japanese, I'll probably be going to Japan, and if I take Germany, German, I would probably be going to Germany for my study abroad. So, what advice would you have when I'm choosing a language?
I would, in choosing those 2 languages with your particular major in chemical engineering, I would probably recommend Germany for that one, because we have better transferable credits there for the chemical engineering major at our university partner. And I think we also have more industrial contacts or research opportunities there built there than we do in Japan. So if you were going to choose between those 2 for the purpose of the GEARE program, I'd probably say German is, we have stronger options for you.
Okay, I gotcha. And another quick question. Is there any way I can complete the GEARE program and also graduate within 4 years?
Yes. In fact, the GEARE program is designed to be able to be completed in 4 years. I would say right now, I think about 50% of our students do complete it in 4 years. Those who take longer to complete it generally are doing longer term internships abroad, or they're implementing this into a co-op program. So we've had a lot more students do that. If you would have asked me this 7 years ago, I would have said almost all the students completed the GEARE program in 4 years, but it was a lot smaller number of students who were in the program. So we've built a lot more flexibilities within GEARE that allows people to do a lot of different things, and allows a lot more people to be successful too. So.
Okay, so does GEARE require me to do a co-op, or is that up to me?
Up to you.
Up to me. I got you. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
I wanted to ask about a language requirement, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So are we allowed to take like, I'm doing German, so like, am I allowed to take German too at like a community college this summer?
sorry, you're taking German in a community college this summer?
Yeah, like, am I allowed to transfer that credit as long as it's like okay with Purdue?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, awesome.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And I would also add, I've got a few questions about this. If you can test into a class, you can still take all the credit for all the subsequent classes. Like I tested into German 5 and got credit for 1 through 4. I think you have to do that. Like, I don't know when the rules were. I know I did mine at my like star day when I came to Purdue, but that is something you can do.
So if you get credit for German 1 through 4, then does that mean that like you basically don't have to take any more language classes?
So if you test out of German 1 through 4, or any language 1 through 4, you need to take one course prior to going abroad, because taking that one course will then get you all of that credit before it.
If you come in with AP credit for 1 through 4, then you wouldn't need to do that. It's only if you do the test out, then you test into German 5, then you need to take German 5 to get credit for 1 through 5. But if you come already with credit, then that doesn't matter. It's just for the test out process.
Yep. True, Allie. But I would say if you did come in and you had 12 credits from AP, I would still say it would be best to take at least a course prior to going abroad, and likely a course the semester prior to going abroad, so that you are feeling more confident and you can use the language while you're overseas, because not using the language, it will fade in your memory and you won't be so good at it. But the more you can actually do within the language, the better you're going to be, the better your experience abroad is going to be. And I think also the more opportunities, the more competitive you're going to be for different types of opportunities. So you'll see that in certain places, English is used a lot in the workplace, but being able to communicate with your coworkers on a different level is pretty important, I think.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So this probably comes off as like very subjective, and you're probably a little biased, but for the GEARE program versus something like the co-op, where I'm kind of weighing this versus like a 5 rotation, just a domestic like co-op. To me, I would think that like having a co-op 5 sessions, the company would like want you to come over and work for them. So I'm kind of weighing like what you would like lose in just like experience with that singular company versus going abroad and getting those skills.
So I think that you can do both co-op and GEARE. There's multiple ways that you can do this. So potentially your co-op company might have an opportunity abroad for you. That kind of worked out with Will. That was hopefully going to work out for Eleanor too. But sometimes co-op companies may not have that opportunity overseas. We're building in a lot more flexibility to our co-op program overall. And so I think that you're going to find that there'll be the opportunity that you can do several co-ops here in the US with the company. And if they don't have something for you overseas, we can work with your company to allow you to go overseas and do something different. So I think there's a lot of things that can work. And I think if you want to do both of those programs, you should try to do both of those programs.
Okay, thank you.
And I would say about the co-op, I wasn't planning, when I came to Purdue, I wasn't planning to do the co-op, especially with the GEARE program, and it kind of just worked its way into the system. So I only did 4 rotations instead of 5, so 2 in the US and 2 in Italy. And you can be pretty flexible with it. It worked out in the end, so no complaints here.
I see a question from Jane asks, what should we do this summer? Good question. Something that I like to talk about, generally speaking. Trying to do something that builds your resume in the summer is important. If you have found an internship this summer, you could potentially use that internship for your domestic internship requirement. You'd have to let us know about the internship and register for the internship course. If there is an opportunity for a summer job that you think that you're going to gain experience with, go ahead and take that summer job. If there's opportunities for engineering project work, maybe with an organization you have, or maybe it's a research related project, go ahead and try to do that. Do something that's meaningful that can help you. If there's language courses that you could take this summer and get ahead on, try to do that. But do something that progresses you kind of forward and helps you with your resume, makes you more competitive, I think. And as Eleanor said, there's not any specific requirements that we have for the summer, but I think that going through and trying to do something that you can put on your resume and start working on that to be more competitive for the different jobs you'll be looking for next year is a good thought.
Hi, can I ask a question as well?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to go to Singapore for an exchange program, and that's part of the reason why I chose to come to GEARE, because I said, oh, I can get an internship and still go to an exchange program in a country that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
So Singapore says that there is no language requirements. Then I will have to just do a random language to fulfill the GEARE requirements.
Yes.
And
yeah. So GEARE requires foreign language as part of the global engineering minor, and part of the requirement for GEARE. We just believe that a global engineer is somebody who can be, multilingual. So you would be required to study a language. If you go to Singapore, you don't have to have, there's no specific language required for that.
Yeah. So I was going to choose Spanish as the language that I would learn for the requirements, but I don't know. I heard that if we end up choosing a language such as Spanish, instead of me going to Singapore, I would end up in a South American country or something like that. But I did not want to choose a South American country because I'm already from South America, and I don't want to go there.
Well, Pedro, if you study Spanish, it'll give you some other options. So like we wouldn't make you go to South America if you were from South America and didn't want to go back. The Spanish could lead to opportunities in Spain, depending on what type of companies you might be connected with. Maybe you would find that it would be advantageous to go there rather than Singapore. It's a little bit early. I mean, you don't really have to make the decision on where you're going abroad until closer to your junior year.
Right, but choosing a language such as Spanish won't eliminate the choice of going to Singapore if that ends up being what I want.
True.
All right, thank you very much. Also, one final question, because when I did the thing that, like when I applied for GEARE, I put on my essay that I wanted to choose Italian, but I ended up changing my mind after an interview that I had, and then I changed my mind to taking Spanish instead. Can I do that easily since I still haven't taken any of the courses anyways?
Yeah, you just let us know what you want to do.
All right, thank you.
Yep. And I think Eleanor had one other thing that she wanted to mention and put out there for us. She's created a fact sheet, I believe, that should help answer some questions.
Yep, this is just an generally FAQ handbook made by GEARE ambassadors. I've sent it over to Joe, who will hopefully forward it on to you guys. It's still in its preliminary stages. We are still updating it, but we wanted to get it out to you guys because we know that when we were in your shoes, we also had a lot of questions. So hopefully this document can help answer that or provide you resources so that way you have something to reference in the future.
Yep. So I will include that. Tomorrow I'll be looking to get a follow-up email to everybody to kind of recap some of the things we discussed tonight and include some questions. And I think if we have more questions, or if you want to speak more personally about your interest, might be good to get in touch, send me an email. We can always set up appointments to talk about your personal interests, and it's a good thing to do as well, to try to lay out what are all of the different opportunities that could be good fits for you, because I'm sure that there are a lot of different things that we could potentially talk about. So feel free to connect with us and set up personal meetings. Maybe throughout the summer we'll have a lot more time, and it's easy to connect now virtually. So feel free to contact and get in touch with us. So I think with that, we are going to end tonight. My wife has dinner reservations for us, so we'll have to get going here pretty soon. But thanks everybody for showing up. Good to see everybody. Congratulations on joining the program. I'm really excited for all of you, and excited for you to experience everything that we have to offer, and extremely excited for 10 years down the line when I followed you and see how successful that you've become. So thanks a lot, and look forward.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, if Joe has to go, but maybe Will, Eleanor, and I can stick around for a little bit longer if you have questions. Oh, Ali also. If not, feel free to email any of us. Joe is a pretty busy guy, so I would say start with Slag, Gear Alarms, then Office, then Joe. We usually have gone through, the same path you guys are going through. So normally things have come up before in the past, so we can help you. But yeah, welcome everybody, and feel free to reach out if you have questions. And yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
I had a quick question.
Yeah, please.
So just to confirm, GEARE requires you to do a domestic internship and a international internship?
Correct. Yes.
And so how many times do the students that intern with a company internationally end up working in that company?
It's becoming more and more common. I see Will nodding.
You have one example right here.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I did that myself a long time ago. It often helps if you were a co-op with that company, because when you do a co-op, you build a stronger connection. So it's not just a one-time internship, but you are hired usually in the US and abroad. I would say how often it happens, it's hard to give you a number because it's definitely a growing thing. But we now definitely have every year a handful of students that are staying with their co-op or GEARE employer.
And I would say, like, I'm just thinking of a lot of the people who went abroad with me. Some of them had offers to go back to their companies and didn't choose to use them as well. But especially if you make a good impact at the company, they'll want to have you back. But I know for a lot of the people who do co-ops, those are the easiest ones to get hired on after. So that it's easy to say that because it happened with me, but yeah.
I think it's also important to mention that it's okay if you don't want to go back to your co-op company. I did a co-op, and it's not that I don't like my company. I'm just not as interested in the industry as I thought I was. So I probably won't go back to them. And that's okay too. Like, you are not glued. You are not married to the co-op company once you've finished your co-op or your internship, whatever you do.
I was hesitant.
You're back.
Was that a question?
I think he froze and he's back now.
Oh.